Yo, what's good, YouTube? We back again with another video. We back here with some more 2K gameplay information from the Joe Knows. People from Community Day, they were allowed to give us some insight, some gameplay today. They were giving permission from 2K today. They got some more stuff coming out this week. The official gameplay trailer, but it's gonna be a full breakdown. Well, reaction to a breakdown. I'm gonna throw in some of my thoughts on it. But let's get into it though.
We've got the new dribbling system, including speed boosting. We've got the new go-to shots that can lead to some insane greens. We've got the shot rating you need to green consistently. We've got the mid-range game covered for all you midi magicians out there. We've got the new rhythm shooting system. And for all you slashers, we've got a detailed meter dunking breakdown. We're gonna cover the all-new shot contest system, and for all the centers, we cover the standing dunks and the paint mash. We've got Devin Booker floaters, we've got scoopers, everything you need to know about layups. We've got everything from paint defense to perimeter bumps to bump steals. Lockdown, stay tuned. Of course, we're gonna break down post scoring, and spoiler alert, it's really good again. We've got ankle breakers, blowout dribbles, Patty Mills jump shot. Everything you want to know about NBA 2K25 is in this video. Drop a like. Let's get it to 10,000 likes, and let's get into it. And let's talk about dribbling. Okay, there was a lot of things floating around the internet about how you could not speed boost on this game. I don't know. Listen, y'all gotta be careful who y'all talk to. You can speed boost on 2K25. Okay, let's chill. You can speed.
Yeah, that was another big thing. Another big thing we was going to hear about. Well, a complaint, I want to say. Speed boost. I know guards had to cry about it and shit. Like, I mean, guards in this game is fucking hard to adapt to shit. But yeah, that was a complaint that I heard a lot. Speed boosting.
Okay, was it different? Absolutely. Is it going to take us a little while to figure out how to speed boost out of every single move on the game? Of course. Just like 2K24, in the beginning of the game, nobody could speed boost out of stuff. People were spamming magic.
But yeah, that's another thing though. Like, people don't understand though. Like, these games, they got to update, they got to hot fixes, a lot of stuff. Like, y'all just look at the patch 1, the release. Like, I never understood that with communities with games. Like, y'all have to understand, the game was not going to be top tier perfection on launch. They update the game here and there. That's what they're supposed to do. Their devs. Yeah, just take your time.
Johnson crossover for like 2 months, right? It took us a while. People thought you had to have Kyrie Irving dribble style to speed boost. And then we realized, okay, you got to do a hezzy out of each dribble move, and then you can burst cleanly. It's going to be something like that along the lines for 25 as well. We just got to find the sauce. People like Young Dirk and Koza were doing a lot more dribble labbing than me. I just tested it a little bit. I speed boosted with De'Aaron Fox, with John Morant, with LeBron James. And for those of you that were also wondering, LeBron hotback is back. Yeah, you still get the big hotback. And for the small guards, I mean, Chris Paul's got the same thing. So LeBron hotback is back. You're going to be doing it. The combos, the quick little combos that like Steph Curry has to like dance behind a screen, and John Morant right there to like get into the mid-range, they felt pretty smooth, pretty clean. I labbed up a little bit. You know, you could spam like the jaw aggressive combo breakdown. And I chained together some decent little moves. In my opinion, the big players almost moved better than the small players. But like, look at, I'm speed boosting with De'Aaron Fox, like no problem. And this was me labbing for like 5 to 10 minutes, you know. So that whole thing, people were tweeting, oh, there's no speed boosting. I don't know what these people, I don't know if they played the same game as me. But you see the cross launch on the crossover right there, little like quick, I guess kind of quick stop pull up, the magic crossover into like the John Wall crossover to the hoop right here. There's definitely going to be some ways to get open. We just gotta, you know, 20 minutes of labbing the demo game at Community Day is not enough. It's going to take a little while. You see the John Wall snatchback from last year. There's a lot of ways that we're going to figure out to get open, whether you're on a bigger player, a smaller player. You can speed boost. Dribbling is different, 100%. Just like every other year. We got to lab it up. We got to find out the best SIGs. We're using NBA players. NBA players, even a Kyrie Irving, De'Aaron Fox, a Trae Young, they do not have optimized SIGs. They have a couple good SIGs, but they don't have like your my player where you have You know,
That's the thing I feel like stuff with 2K. People like jump the gun with stuff like this. This is not what you're gonna main though. Like people y'all have to realize that this is not your everyday main. Like you're not gonna main DeMar DeRozan. Not DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox. You're not gonna main De'Aaron Fox animations that say, "Oh yeah, the game's cooked." It's like, yeah, we gotta change that mindset. Like that's one thing that I can like. I gotta go against. It's like y'all, the people, the community. It's like that'd be some of the main focuses once a game release, mainly in 2K.
one of the best animations in every category. They might have one or two or three good dribble moves in their package of whatever it is, 10 dribble moves, let's say, while your My Player has 10 good animations. All animations you have are good and give you clean bursts and clean movement. These guys are, they're NBA players. They have their actual SIGs. Some of them are trash. Some of their SIGs are trash. Just a bug almost hit me in the eye. Some of their SIGs are trash every year, right? So let's relax. I think we're going to be fine. Just like at the beginning of 24, it felt stiff, it felt slow. Nobody could figure out how to move cleanly and speed boost. And like I said, people were spamming Magic Johnson crossover for like a month or two. We're going to figure it out. When it comes to Steezo's going to go crazy on this game. I was able to like dribble backwards a little bit, and I'm not I'm not Steezo. Steezo's going to go absolutely insane on this game. All right, so let's look at the new shot timing profile. You have layup timing and shot timing profiles. So for layup timing, you have real player percentage, low, normal, and high risk. You still have your shot timing visual cue. At least in the demo version, you couldn't create the custom cue that they had talked about, so you could just choose from the ones from last year. So I put it on push. And then for the shot timing profile, you see it's set to difficulty based, which is basically it just automatically adjusts depending on the difficulty you're playing on. So I don't know how that's going to work with online gameplay, if that's going to be an option, but you still have real player percentage, low, normal, and high risk. And essentially, you can read the descriptions here, but the higher the risk you go, the more your timing matters. And I'm going to be honest, unless you have bad Wi-Fi or you're just extremely new to 2K, after testing normal and high risk and all these options, everyone's going to play on high risk. Like everyone that plays the game and is, I'd say, average to above average, unless you have bad Wi-Fi, you're going to play on high risk because it gives you more control over whether you green or not. And shooting on high risk, as you're going to see, even with low 3-point ratings, I was still able to spark. So here's what I was talking about. You see, I have it set to high risk reward on your shot timing profile, okay? And I'm using Ja Morant here. The difficulty is on Hall of Fame, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna check out Ja's 3-point rating. It is a 78 3-point rating, and I did go look at his badges after. He has no limitless range, so not even bronze limitless range. He's got a few shooting badges, if I remember correctly, but I just looked to see if he had limitless. It's on Hall of Fame, and like this is using Ja's jump shot base with no jump shot boost. I don't think he had any 3-point hot zones, and I was still able to just green. So in my opinion, if you're not using high risk, high reward, you're going to be at an extreme disadvantage, especially when you play against other good players. Like I said, unless you have bad Wi-Fi or something, you're going to be on that high risk. Now, the next thing I wanted to test was limitless range. It's on Hall of Fame, and I'm shooting from the logo. Steph has Hall of Fame limitless range. So, this year you can get legend limitless range, but no NBA players that we played on had legend badges. So I wasn't able to test any legend badges. But as you can see, I can shoot from basically the center circle with Hall of Fame limitless. Now, Steph does have a 99.3, but he only has half limitless. So it's going to be interesting to see what that legend limitless is like. Let's move on. All right, let's talk about the new stick shooting. Okay, obviously we've read about it. Now this is it in action. Basically, it gives you two timings. It gives you a feedback on the first initial push of the stick in terms of your timing, and then it gives you a second reading at the bottom that talks about your tempo. Now, if you green both the timing and the tempo, you make it every time from what I saw. If you green one or the other, you make it a decent amount of the time. But as you see in the screenshot, you got the timing and the tempo, and right here I got great timing, great tempo, so they're both green. You make the shot every time from what I saw. But the main problem I think is going to come with this is, let's look.
No, that's a vibe though. That's a vibe. Cause I guess with the tempo, like I would like to assume it shows you how consistency is with the shot how do I explain it? It shows how consistent he is with taking the exact shot, getting the exact timing. Like you can get great timing, but the tempo could be a little off. I understand. I understand it for what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, but I hope that's something that's like a need, though. Not a need, but a need to make those shots, like the tempo and all that stuff. But yeah, there's two. It looked pleasing to me. I don't know if it's just me, but I actually like how this looked though. It looks very pleasing to me. I like how the layout is. They changed it from 2K. They changed it to 2K Learn instead of 2KU.
Look at the two situations. First of all, catch and shoot. When you're catching and shooting using the stick shooting, it seemed like there was a slight delay. Like there was a little bit of a hitch in terms of how fast you could get the shot off. And maybe I was just doing it wrong because it was the first time playing the game. But even people that I talked to, they kind of said they felt like they could shoot much quicker. Like you could instantly shoot the ball if you shot with the button on catch and shoots. And there was that slight hitch, slight delay using the stick, which obviously is going to lead to your shot getting contested more because you can't get the shot off as quickly. The other situation besides catch and shoot is dribbling. And obviously it's something new, and I was only experimenting with it for a few minutes on this demo version of 2K25, but to go from comboing dribble moves to then shooting with the stick, it felt very awkward, and maybe that's just because it's new. If I had to guess whether people are going to use it or not, I would say majority of people will not use this. Kind of like the shot aiming back in 2K21. I think it was 2K21 if y'all remember that. I feel like it's going to kind of be like that. You'll get a few people experimenting with it, but for the most part, people are going to stick with that button shooting, especially with the high risk option. I just feel like it was so consistent, even with that, even with John Morant, with the 78 3 ball. Like imagine, you know, our my players with much higher ratings, with jump shot boost, with hot zones, lethal zones, etc., etc. Y'all, you guys understand what I'm saying. The one situation I think I could see people potentially using the stick shooting is on fades. Now these clips are from my boy Swag. He was testing it out and he said it felt really good when he was just kind of running to the side and shooting like a mid-range fade. So maybe people will use that. He said he would kind of experiment with it more and consider it. But for someone like me who's typically ISOing, I don't see myself comboing up and creating space and then using the stick to shoot. So experiment with it as you want. I'll probably test it out a little bit more, but I think I'm just going to be shooting with the button on that high risk, high reward. Go-to shots. These are actually pretty cool. How effective will they be? I'm not sure. And did they soup up the green window on these? I don't know, because I was green and reds and yellows on these like crazy. And yes, this is on Hall of Fame. That is a very tight red coverage that we're going to get into shortly on Hall of Fame.
So they changed like a test, the tight, very tight, and all that stuff. But yeah, but once again, this layout though, I just man, so that right, it just looks amazing.
Difficulty over Michael Jordan, who has straight Hall of Fame defensive badges. Here's another one right here with Kevin Durant, and it's a greened another. Here's another one right here with Kevin Durant, and it's a green.
Yeah, they changed that from heavily contested, slightly contested to tight, very tight. What is like the yellow contest? I'm trying to see what that
another
like.
red contest over Chris Middleton. So the go-to shots. The reason I like
Slight light pressure. Hey, I wonder how would that work with percentages? Like, would they be like a just regular percentage? Like, will red just be 50 and up? Yellow like 15 to 30 or 40. I don't know. How would that work though? Because certain shots, I don't think you may want to assume it's a good shot because they got yellow contest. But I think that takes away from like you knowing what's a good shot and what's a bad shot. But that might add more towards like a skill. I don't know.
Them is just because they look really nice aesthetically. They are very pleasing. They look very like they literally as a fan of the NBA, they look just like the player movements from real life. Now some of them are a little slow and they don't create a lot of space, so I don't know how much people will actually use them in like online gameplay. But the one thing that is good about these, as we read in the Courtside report, if you watched that video or read about it yourself, you can at any moment out of those combinations You can speed boost out of it. You can also at any moment, as you, let's say you go tween, behind the back, tween, hop. At any moment in that sequence, you can do a different dribble move. So let's say I go tween, behind the back, tween, and then I want to just do like an escape and run right. I can escape and run right at any moment within that whole sequence. And that's like the shot canceling feature that they were talking about. And I was a little skeptical because I was like, well, on past 2Ks, you could shot cancel, like you do a hop jumper, you just don't shoot it, right? You do a hop jumper and then just like run out of it. But it was much smoother, like they said, I will say. So we'll have to experiment with it. I'm sure everyone's gonna find like the one or two good like signature go-to shot that creates a ton of space or allows you to like really hop away and then like combo out of that and get to the basket or whatever. People are always gonna find like the most effective ones and use them online. But from a visual standpoint, they looked really good. And I don't know if they souped up the green windows, like I said, but I was green and contested signature go-to shots a lot, and all the gameplay you see in this video is on Hall of Fame. Off dribble shooting, for those of you that love the mid-range and love the hop jumpers and fades and all that, it felt really good. I'll be honest, like, I mean, obviously I'm using Kevin Durant and some other really good high-rated players, but it felt very greenable. Yellows, reds, I think the mid-range is going to be lethal again on this game. Like, it's going to be something people can go to with the front fades, the side fades, the back fades, the hop jumpers, spin shots, all the stuff that all you like midi loving players loved about 24. I feel like the mid-range is going to be just as effective on this game. So yeah, whether you're shooting the signature shots, the hop shots, the fades, the mid-range is definitely going to be back this year, in my opinion. Of course, I'm just playing against the AI, but I think I get a pretty good sense of it from what I tested, and middies are going to be good yet again. Let's get into meter dunking. Now, the first thing you might see, the actual meters, there is no green window that it shows. There is no green window that it shows, so
That's a pro to me. I respect that. I think I personally think they should remove green dunks. Timing your dunks, I think that should remove that. Me personally, I think it's just like something that can be automatic. But now that they say it's no meter, it adds more skill than not having the dunk meter. But the green window was my biggest thing I hated about the dunking. Alley oops, I could see alley oops if there was a contact dunk, but the contact dunk with the meters, it was almost like guaranteed if you was like getting through a lane or the person just sitting in the paint. It was almost guaranteed to me 24. But he said no green window or no like area to time it at. You just fully time the meter. Actually, that's a vibe to me. I fucks with that. But I wonder how would that be though? Like, will be considered a good dunk? Will be considered a bad take? Like, how would they correlate that to a good and bad take? If that makes sense.
So in order to determine whether it's a good or a bad dunk attempt, I'm not really sure. It's a bit of guesswork. Did it feel good? Oh, it still felt good. Yep, it still felt real good. I did not green all of them, so it wasn't like super duper easy to the point that you could just be brain dead and do it. All of these are on Hall of Fame. But as I said, there's no green window to tell you if it's like in 24, for example, you'd say, oh, it's a big meter or a small meter. You know, they talked about the dunk meter logic was going to change, and it wasn't just going to be straight up big or straight up tiny. Like, there was going to be in between, but we don't even know if they're, you know, we don't really even know what is considered an in between or what's considered a big meter, small meter. We don't know any of that because when you go up, regardless of which of the three dunk meters you pick, it doesn't show you a green window. And the same is for standing dunks that we're going to get into in a second. So I guess it's going to be a lot of trial and error on what's a good take and what's like super greenable. The one thing I will say is going against smaller play, like jaw dunking on a guard, definitely felt a lot easier as I miss one on Dinwiddie. I mean, I show that. The one thing I will say is the opponent, the defender mattered. For example, like trying to dunk on Draymond felt a lot more difficult than trying to dunk on a guard, like a Kyrie Irving or something. Like, it definitely felt like the defender's attributes and badges mattered more than it did on 24, which overall is a good thing. I think that makes sense. But like I said, without being able to see the green window, you really don't know what's a good or a bad take. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. Did it still feel good? Absolutely. Let's get into shot contest. So they took away percentages. And from what I understand, there won't be percentages in the real game either. So there's wide open, I think there's open, and then there's light pressure, which is a yellow contest, and then there's tight, which is a red contest. And then another degree that I saw was very tight, but it was also red colored. So I'm assuming it's just like obviously a heavier contested.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well though, but like how would the percentages be kind of calculated though? Like to what's a good shot though? I don't understand that. But I think that'll be explained in a later date though as well.
Tight shot, but we don't know like how much more of an effect that has. Now, the bigger question I have is some of these shot contest systems. So I just have two examples here because I don't want to go on and on for hours and hours, but check this out. Okay, KD pulls up, it's a light pressure, okay, shooting it over Brook Lopez. Now let's check out this MJ fade over Dwayne Wade. That's a red. So let's break this picture down. I froze it at the release point of both of their jump shots. If you see the first one on the left with Dwayne Wade, I reached. I'm the defender in this situation. I tried to like get a strip animation or something like that. So there is no hand even above Michael Jordan's waist at the time of him releasing that fade. And I got a red contest. Now on the flip side over here with Kevin Durant, Brook Lopez contested this shot pretty damn well. Like his hand is all the way up basically by Durant's wrist, almost right by his hand. It might be like one of those in real life where you shoot and the defender, you know, you high five the defender as you release the ball. Like he's right there, and that's a yellow. So that makes me think maybe Dwayne Wade's perimeter is much higher than Brook Lopez's. Maybe his challenger is much higher, or is it going to go back to contests where it's just really depends on where you're standing? Like if you're in the hitbox probably isn't the right term, but you understand what I'm saying. If you're like right up against the defender, even without a hand up, is it going to be a red this year? Because I'm going to be honest, though, the jump shot that KD's taking looks a hell of a lot more contested than the one that Michael Jordan's taking. And like I said, the Jordan contest was a red and the KD contest was a yellow. I'm not really sure about this. I'm not really sure. Obviously, online gameplay will be the ultimate determining factor on like how we feel about shot contests, but this was just something that I noticed when I was going back over all the gameplay that I had, and I was like, man, like that looks way more contested than the other one, and the other one registered as a red. So I'm not really sure how I feel about shot contests, and I can't really give you guys a good answer on if it's better, worse, or the same, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to 24. So this is one, my bad. I'm just showing you the example. I can't give you an answer on this one. So let's talk about them taking away the percentages real quick. Immediately my brain goes, man, like there's a big difference between a 6% yellow contest and a 36% yellow contest. And we're not going to know that this year. So does that mean every single light contest is exactly the same? Does that mean, you know, obviously depending on the level of your challenger and your perimeter defense, does that make it easier to get a red contest instead of a yellow? Or is it just across all, you know, is whatever's a yellow is a yellow regardless of badges, but then because of the level of the badge will be like how effective that yellow contest is? It just kind of raises a lot of questions about how effective shot contests are going to be, because you're not going to really know in great detail what level the contest is. It's just either open, wide open, yellow, or red. Like there's no more information than that. And from what I was told, it's not getting added to the real game. Like this, the way it was in the demo is how it's going to be in the game. Let's talk about some standing dunks, some paint mash, something for you centers. Now, standing dunks, first of all, were really OP in 24 because of the jab step. No more jab steps in the paint. Every time you try to jab step, you see right here, it's just you pump fake, pump fake, pump fake. There's no more, you can't Kobe jab in the paint or do any triple threat jab in the paint. Now, the one thing I will say about the standing meter dunks, just like the driving meter dunks, because there's no green window, you don't really know what is a good one and a bad one. So it's going to, again, be a lot of trial and error. Did I green some? Absolutely. You can also still standing contact dunk with X. I got a couple of those in there in the limited amount of time where I was testing this. Paint mashing, until we play against other human beings, is going to be tough to really get a read on it. But one thing I will say is like moving people out of the way and going up with close shots did feel pretty effective. Obviously, all these guys have high close shot like Giannis and Wembanyama, but looking like Giannis pushing Kevin Durant in and then going up and getting a layup, still greening it over light pressure. I feel like paint mashing could be determined a lot more this year off of potentially close shot, but more importantly, having some post control, because without the jab step, to be able to create the space and be able to create the room that you need to be able to standing dunk or
Me personally, I just wish post scoring. It's not like I hope post scoring is decent enough to compete with other positions with the 1 through 5, but I don't want it to be like a landslide to where like when you know a post scorer like in 24, if you had a post scoring on you in the threes, it's like they just dominated you. Like it didn't matter the size. You could be 6'7" to 7'3", or like you can just have a regular threes big. It didn't like you could pretty much tell who's gonna win it when the verse is like a big can have standing dunk and just dominate you. You just sit there and submit to it. Like I wish I wish they alter it, but not too game change. I know there's some post players, some post control bigs who want to be on that build for enjoyment, but like the people make those builds, they don't make it to compete. They make those knowing how OP they are. I hope no build is really just like that. Like, oh yeah, I made this build. I'm gonna get my way. Yeah. I don't really want that. Like when he got the ball, I'm a guarantee bucket. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's not like that at least.
standing layup, I feel like could be a challenge, because that was the main reason on 24 it was so good, because of the jab. The jab would get you that separation, get the defender off of you, and then you could go up. But without having the jab, you're gonna have to go to other ways, and maybe post control becomes a
What if you could get paid to learn how to code? This is Caleb. Caleb was once a burnt out
little bit more important for a center who's looking to be an offensive option down low. We'll have to wait and see, like I said, until we play online, because just against the AI, it's never really a true read on how it's going to be. All right, let's get into some layups. Now, layups on 24 were really good, and as the year went on, more and more people found out about how good they were, and people started making the Devin Booker floater builds. The animation is still in the game. I didn't test it for too long, so I just got a couple clips for you there. I missed one, I made one. But also in the game, scoopers. Scoopers are back. You still get the cheese body to body scooper animation. They did not remove that. Now, the thing about this is,
nah, they gotta, they have to do something about this though. Y'all have to 2K. I mean, this to me feel as though it's only a one-sided. It's one-sided. Like, once again, you can be a good defender in this game. If it's gonna be like that in 2K, I don't think that should be in the game. Like, look at this though.
Super animation. They did not remove that.
It's like he's submitting to it though. I can see this happening here and there, but once it's got Scottie Pippen, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Brown will get him too much of his way with Scottie Pippen on a one-on-one to the paint. Yeah, he might get a little something here and there, but like stuff like that.
Now, the thing about this is,
if that happens often, like
I don't even know if the devs know this is in the game. Like, once people
look
found
at this,
this
look at
move
this
out,
though. Look at this. That's the same move. Look at MJ. MJ, it's like he's submitting to it though.
I don't even know if the devs know this is in the game.
Like, look at this.
Once people,
it's like they force you not to jump.
Found this move
Look at that.
out, they did it a lot.
Like, come on, nah. That's
I
a great
know some people
defender
did it in the
there.
stage.
You can like just
It was
shut
a bit
him
more
out
of a
for that.
sweaty move, but basically, you could just body through somebody even if they had a 99 strength and you had no strength. Strength had nothing to do with it, and that
was the problem in 2K23. That was the that was the problem. Bigs being weakened. Bigs being like defense, that was the main problem in 2K22, 23, 24. There was no good defense. I mean, you can be any height as long as you had decent finishing, you was dominating a defender. Like, you can have a 99 strength. And honest to God, if you were like a finisher, you were getting your way. That's how OP was. Like, you was absolutely getting your way with the player. which made no sense.
That's why I'm not sure the devs even know this is in the game. So that body to body, like scooper cheese layup animation is still a thing. And it is still very effective. I greened some yellows with it. And most of them said,
look, this man whole body just turned around. His whole body just turned around right here. Look at that. Like, you can't make that up.
I greened some yellows with it. And most of them said open. Now, look
at this.
Also with that, there's some cool new animations.
This man just put his hand down, turned around, like, come on now.
The dude's kind of pushing LeBron in the back, and it just looks cool.
Yeah.
And overall, layups did feel very, very effective. Now, again, it's against the AI. Like, we have to wait and see how it feels online. But overall, layups, they felt good. The D-Book floater's back, the scooper's back. Even if you don't get the scooper cheese layup, like where you the body-to-body scooper cheese, just even regular scoopers felt good. I greened a lot of layups, and then even like with the smaller players, like if they take you out of a dunk, you can green the layup. Those of you that were asking me to test the layups, I would definitely say for those of you that love layup builds and all that, it's definitely going to be viable again. There might even be some good new layup animations. We'll have to wait and see, you know, if we find like something even better than the D-Book floater this year or whatever. But definitely was fun to do the layups. There's some cool new animations that I noticed. And for those like more sweaty players, the D-Book's back. The body-to-body scoopers are back. Those are all still going to be really effective. Now let's talk about some defense. Pluck steals were kind of tough to test, but for those locks that want bump steals back, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they are back, because I was blitzing the computer on Hall of Fame, and anytime my body hit that ball, the ball popped free. So those lockdowns that were frustrated all of 24 with not being able to get the bump steals they feel they were able to get.
I'm big on defense, but that steal right there, though, like, I don't think the physics is right on that steal.
With not being able to get... So
look at this. He plucked the ball, but the ball went forward. It's like, I don't want to go on a limb and say it was a kickball, but like stuff like that, it's defeating though. Cause like, look at that.
That were frustrated all of 24 like, with not being able to get the bump steals they feel they were able to get.
I guess.
Or they feel they should have got, I should say. I think you're gonna be able to get bump steals like crazy this year. Like, look, I'm blitzing Devin, but it's on Hall of Fame, and I'm just blitzing it. Like, anytime my body hit that ball, it popped free. And testing plucks with the NBA players against the AI is just difficult, because not a lot of the guys have like Hall of Fame glove with 99 steal, like a lockdown wood, or anytime I did go for a reach on the ball, I did not get it. Now there's no right stick ripper, and when I tested it in 24, I was getting a ton of on-ball steals. I didn't test it for very long this year because I had a limited amount of time and I had to get in the builder and all that, but to me, the main thing that stood out for steals was bump steals. That bump steals felt like they were like really effective. Like if you position yourself correctly and you get your body onto that basketball, it's gonna pop free from the ball handler, which in my opinion takes more skill than getting a pluck steal anyway. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not sure about pluck steals, but they definitely didn't feel how they felt when I tested 2K24 last year at Community Day. Maybe I didn't test them enough, but I will say, in the demo mode that I played here, this demo version of the game, bump steals felt really, really good. Some more defense. The bumps that you could get on the ball handler felt good. That on-ball menace, I think that's what they said was like the new clamps, as you see it popping up in the top right-hand corner. You can get a lot of bumps, but like Bill Cartwright right there getting that little blow-by animation on Chris Bosh, I don't think the bumps are like so OP to the point that people won't be able to move. Obviously, I think it's going to depend on what build is playing against what build, what the strength is, what the immovable forcer is.
Yeah, I respect that though. I like more so harassed defense though. Not like it's one-sided when you slide and all that stuff. I like this though. I see LeBron guarding Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's not the best dribbler, driver, whatever you want to say, towards playmaking, dribbling. He's not the best, but LeBron is a above average defender. It shows how like defense is improved a little bit. I want to go out on a limb and say that once again, but it's kind of showing that. Like he harassed him a little bit.
The lightning launches on, all that. But Bill Cartwright right there got a blow-by animation moving in slow motion against Chris Bosh.
Yeah,
but then I also got some really good bump animations.
I just wonder how would they implement in the park with smaller guards? Would they be like more of a landslide towards the guard like still the guard getting bumpy and still scoring? Like I wonder how would that work? I honestly think like with offense and defense, if I had better defense, we have offense. I should have more of a chance to stop you than you scoring me. That's honestly how I view it, though. I don't really believe in like you out of luck. Just yeah, yo, like you know what I'm saying. I don't think that better anybody's chances of like scoring or being a good defender. If it's gonna be like that to me, at least.
With LeBron against Scottie Pippen. So hopefully it's balanced and hopefully it's not just super RNG whether you get a good bump or they get a blow by. Hopefully it actually does depend on momentum and badges and attributes and all that. Tough to say against the AI, like I said, but once we get into online gameplay, I think within a couple weeks we will definitely have our answer. We touched on paint defense a little bit already when we were talking about the meter dunks, but it felt pretty good in terms of like if you kept your body between somebody in the hoop, you could definitely wall up. Chase down block right there with LeBron. Definitely can still, you know, chase people down. Nothing crazy there. But did the computer make some red layups on me? Absolutely. You know, did they make some yellows on me? Absolutely. I think it all depends on your positioning and then also your rating and your badges. Anytime I feel like I was on a good enough defender and I got my body in position to stop a drive, I feel like I got the stop pretty consistently. Also, when I was doing the meter dunks, like I said, it was much harder to meter dunk on a Draymond Green than it was on a Kyrie Irving. So I think size, but then also attributes matter. Like Draymond's defense and badges are definitely a lot better than Kyrie's when it comes to inside. So I think that's also a big factor to take into consideration, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, here we go again. Post scores, well, every year, bro. Every year. They're going to be godly, bro. They're going to be godly. I'm telling you that right now. You still get the spin throw animations. The post hooks felt good.
I mean, when I'm looking at this, I see this as like Kayla Oubre Jr. Win Banana, whatever. But I see this. I always think there should be like a height difference, a weight difference, a difference for there to be at least something OP. You know what I'm saying? Kayla Oubre is 6'7". Wimbyana is 7'4". That's almost a foot difference. 3 inches off a foot. Come on now. We can go on a limb and say he's gonna abuse him. Come on now. No big. He's not even a big. Think about that. He's a small forward shooting guard. He's not a big. But the not Wimbyana, but the Embiid stuff, I guess I don't know. I could see if it was like Shaq, Kareem. It depends, though. Like I always say, I believe there's a landslide when it comes to stuff like that. Where it will never even out, though.
Good. The post fades felt good. And Joel only has gold post badges. So there's 2 tiers up, right? You can go to you can go to Hoff, and then you could go to Legend. So a pure post scorer with Legend post badges. Just get ready, bro. That's all I'm saying. Just get ready. They're back. They are back again. They are back again. The fades felt obviously Embiid has a really good mid-range rating and post control rating and all that. So the fades with him did feel, you know, extremely good. I don't think we're gonna have as high a rating on you know, if you made a 7-3 post score. But I guess potentially you could if you went small wingspan. But anyways, my point is post scores are back. They're gonna be godly. You can still throw people. The drop steps felt really, really good. The hooks, the fades. This was with gold badges. Imagine Legend. Y'all get the point. On and on and on. Post scores, yet again, they're going to be godly. Another thing to test was the blowout dribble. Now you do it with the flicking the right stick up. And I'll be honest, it did feel better than 2K24. It definitely felt like you could actually kind of get downhill with it. In terms of just getting separation from the opponent, it did feel better, but I was playing against the AI, of course. We got to see when there's another human being sprinting as fast as he can to try to catch up to you. When it comes to ankle breakers, I really only got one, and I didn't even do it on purpose, and it was on a hop jumper, unfortunately. So are ankle breakers back? Are they going to be effective? I'm not really sure. But one thing I will say was when I was dribbling on the perimeter a lot, I would get oohs and ahs from the crowd, and like I wasn't getting any crazy ankle breaker. It was almost like I was getting stun animations just from doing like small little combos. So it almost seemed like it worked as ankle breaker, but also tight handles. If y'all remember tight handles, we get those stun animations. And it wasn't like anything crazy in terms of the stuns.
That presents problems. Guys?
Thank you, David.
But I heard the crowd every time I saw the defender wobble, even just a little bit, you know, ooh, ah. We'll see once we get online. I didn't like spam to get ankle breakers all that often, but everyone else I talked to said they barely got any. All right, a lot of you guys asked me about Patty Mills' jump shot because it was so good in 24. And I'm gonna be honest, it's still fast. Obviously, this is the actual Patty Mills jump shot. I wasn't able to create a custom Patty Mills with different releases, but it is still really fast. It feels relatively the same as last year. Depending on shot contests and depending on, obviously, once, you know, 2K Labs gets in and tests all the green window sizes for the bases and the releases and all that, it'll determine if it's going to be the best shot in the game again. But in terms of speed and visual looks and everything, I mean, Patty was still pattying. I'm gonna be honest, Patty was still pattying, so it might be one of the best shots on the game again. We'll have to see. And a big determining factor on why Patty Mills was the best shot on 24 was the contest system. Just for whatever reason, just Patty would just register opens almost all the time. Like even the 5% contests on 24 looked like they should have been reds. Like,
congratulations, you made it to the end of the YouTube video. This was a lot to take in, but I'm at the end of here. I can't wait no more. I'm waiting for 25 to come out. I'm gonna have some more videos out. This week we're going to have some 25 gameplay, official gameplay for Micro Motor Park. But that'll be all though. I'm waiting on that. I'm gonna get a YouTube video out of that. But after that, that's about it. I'm gonna go in here.